bank accounts can be defined directly in the AP or AR module, but in R12, the total bank account setup is moved to the cash management module. So you need to use the cash management module in order to make the payments. So there was a scenario wherein, like in 11i, users were using only, there are a couple of clients where I have seen they were using your subledgers of AP and AR. They were not even using the cash management module, which is fine. But in R12, whether you want to use the cash management module or not, you need to definitely have the cash management module. Whether you want to use these kind of functionalities in cash management module or not, but you need to set up the cash management module. The reason being, in order to, obviously you want to create the bank accounts. In order to create the bank accounts, you need to have the cash management module. And without having a bank account, you will not be able to make a payment of your invoices in AP module. So in R12, your AP and cash management are more or less kind of an interlink. You cannot say that I want to have only AP but not cash management. You need to set up the cash management, and maybe you do not use the other functionalities available in the cash management, like bank statement reconciliation or cash forecasting or cash pooling, something like that. Okay. So first thing is you need to set up the banks. Okay. How we can set up the bank? So for that we need to get into the cash management module.
Hey, Arvind, before we get into that, right, do we have any concept of discount invoice?
Discount invoice? I don't think so.
I mean, I didn't see any type of a discount, but in general, right, like...
I don't think so there is any discount. No, I don't think so there is any discount invoice, but there is some functionality wherein you can apply discount on these invoices. So when you do some kind of setups, the way you can apply a discount is basically, take an example. There is an invoice. Go back to this running notes. Okay, there is an invoice of 10,000 rupees which we got from the vendor. Okay, vendor says that pay me on or before 30 days credit. So on or before, say what, like if you have created the invoice today, pay me on or before 30th of October 2017. Okay, vendor can say that even though I've given you 30 days, if you pay me on the say 10th of October, that is you pay me within 10 days, I'll give you 5% discount. Okay. So when you say 5% discount, once you do some kind of setups for the discount, what will happen is out of 10,000, automatically 5% will be deducted. So 10,000 minus 5% will be 500. Okay, 500 will be gone to the discount. Okay, and you will be making a payment of only
9,500.
9,500. Okay, so you'll be getting a benefit of 500 rupees and 9,500, and once you make a payment of 9,500, the total amount paid from the invoice perspective will be total 10,000, because you're taking a benefit of 500 rupees. Okay, so that is what is the discount in AP module. Discount received from the vendor.
Okay, what is the account entry for this 500?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
What is the account entry for this 500?
Okay, so for the, okay, coming back to that, okay, so normally if there is no say discount, the journal entry will be expense account debit 10,000. Okay, liability account credit 10,000. Okay, and when you make a payment without discount, I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
When you make a payment, liability account will be debited and bank account will be credited. So if you see, the net impact will be after passing of these two things, these two are knocked off, debit and credit. So the net impact will be expense account debit, bank account credit without discount. Okay, and now say with the discount. Okay, expense account debit 10,000. $500 is your income, right? Okay, then okay, when you are making a payment, you will be making a payment of only, Liability account debit 10,000. Discount account credit 500. Bank account credit 9,500. See, if you observe here, bank account is credited with 10,000 because in the without discount scenario, you are making a payment of total 10,000. So that is the reason your bank account is credited with 10,000 rupees. But whereas in the case of with the discount, you are paying only 9,500. The remaining 5,000 is going to the discount account. Okay. So this discount account is credited. So this is basically, it's called discount received account. So this goes to your P&L account under miscellaneous income. Okay.
Okay, this is from the company perspective, it's a loss, right?
Why it's loss? It's an income. Why it is a loss? Tell me. You are see simple. Forget about this accounting. I'll ask you a simple question. A vendor has given you an invoice of say 10,000 rupees. You received the goods for say total 10,000 rupees, but he asks
Okay,
you to
okay.
pay only 9,500. So when he asks you to pay only 9,500, whether you treat that 500 as an income or loss?
Oh, no, no, no. I forgot about the vendor concept. But in general, yeah, from his perspective, it is loss, right?
Exactly. From our perspective, it is an income because obviously
Yes.
think whenever you are doing, I mean, whenever you're working on this ERP, always think, and from an accounting perspective also, always think only from your perspective when you are writing your accounting entries. Okay? Always think only
Okay.
from your perspective because
Okay.
this is your books of accounts. In your books of account, what is debited and what is credited, you need to think only from your perspective. Okay. Had this been in AR module, okay, in AR we generated an invoice, we have given it to the customer, and for the customer we have given a discount. So same example, we have generated an invoice and we have given the 10,000 rupees to the customer, and the customer has paid promptly, okay, within 5 days or 10 days, whatever it is, okay, and he has paid us only 9,500 rupees. So there we have given a 500 rupees discount. So that is a discount loss to us. So that is a discount is an expense. So there, here the account is discount received, there that expense will be discount paid. Okay.
Okay.
So from an AR perspective, if there is any discount, that is a loss to us or an expense to us. But from an AP perspective, it's a discount received or a gain to us. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now coming
And
to,
this setup, Arvind, where do
sorry.
you do this setup? This discount setup?
uh,
It's in the payable options only.
in the payable options, yeah, and also if I remember it correctly, there are a couple of things which we need to do at the supplier side also. Okay. Okay, coming back to the payment process, there are different ways of making a payment. Okay, first payment is called quick payment or single payment, and next payment is called batch payment, or you can even call it as a PPR, payment process request. That's the payment process request. That's the name in R12. In 11 we used to call as a payment batch. In R12 we call it as a payment process request payment. So payment process request is basically making a payment for a group of invoices in a single go, instead of selecting each and every invoice and making a payment through by running a one particular program. And when you are running a program, you are giving some kind of a criteria, and in the criteria you are specifying what are the invoices which needs to be selected, and then you are making a payment in a single go. Okay. So even before we make a payment, first of all we need to set up something called bank account in the system, because you need to specify from which bank account you want to make a payment, without which you cannot make a payments in the system. So in order to set up the bank account, you need to go to the cash management module. So similar to any other modules, for the cash management, again you need to create the responsibility, you need to set some profile options, and in AP we have seen something called payable options and financial options. Similarly in cash management also we need to do something called system options. In AR also we have got something called system options. So in every module, the base first setup is creating of the responsibility, and then completing of the basic set options in AP, which is financial options or payable options. In AR also we call system options. In fixed assets also we got something called system options. Similarly, in the cash management also we got something called system options. So now we'll start with creating of the responsibility, completing of the system option. Then we can start using the module. So as part of using of the module, the first setup is creating of the bank accounts, and then we'll stop it there and come back to AP module. Got it? So go to the cash management V100. So first thing is creation of the responsibility. So I have created this particular responsibility. Again, go to from where exactly we can create the responsibility. Rohit, do you remember? I know other guys knows, but I just want you. Okay, sorry.
System admin.
Exactly, system administrator. Go to security, responsibility, define. Okay, create the responsibility. So I had already created. So as I had already created, I am querying the responsibility. Okay, copy my responsibility name and control F11. So this is the responsibility. If you remember, when you are creating a responsibility, use a proper naming convention. So the naming convention is the module name, role, whether it's a super user or a data entry or inquiry or manager or whatever it is. So cash management super user, and then followed by the our operating unit name Reliance Postpaid, followed by the currency. So the naming convention is cash management super user Reliance Postpaid INR. For AP, we use naming convention payables super user Reliance Postpaid INR. For AR, we'll use the naming convention accounts receivable super user Reliance Postpaid INR. So the application name is cash management. So in Oracle, so the modules are, I mean, we are calling it as a module in layman terms, but from a product perspective, you call them as an applications. Payables is one application, accounts receivable is one application, accounts payables is an application, receivables is one application. Similarly, the cash management is another application. So select the application as cash management. Responsibility key is just a unique key. So the naming convention is cash management Reliance INR. And for generally, whenever you are doing any setups in Oracle, whether wherever you see the fields as key, code, something like that, always ensure that there are no spaces there. Use something called underscores. So that is the naming convention which we use wherever there is something called key, code, or something like that. Okay. And data group standard application cache management, and this is the seeded menu which Oracle has provided. So this particular menu has got all our required cache management related stuff there. Okay, so once the responsibility is created, what is the next step? I need to assign this particular responsibility to my user ID. Okay, which I had already done that. So go to users. So security user define. So F11 query for my user. This is my user, and put your cursor here, click on down arrow and add the responsibility. So if I try to add a responsibility, I'll get a message this responsibility has already been assigned, because I'd already assigned that particular responsibility. So put your cursor here, F11, control F11. You can see the responsibility is already assigned to me. Okay, now switch responsibility. So click on this hat, cash management supervisor Reliance Postpaid INR. Okay, so sorry, I think I should have shown the profile options also. So responsibilities is added, and next step is you need to assign the profile option. So similar to any other module, we need to assign couple of profile options. So the base important profile option is the GL data access set, which is nothing but the ledger which is linked to this particular responsibility. MO operating unit, which is nothing but the operating unit which is linked to this particular responsibility. So from a GL perspective, this is the mandatory responsibility. And from a subledger's perspective, you need to enter the ledger name as well as the operating unit. These are the two mandatory responsibility. And the next two are actually kind of an optional. It all depends on how you have set up your system. If there is a secondary ledger linked to your primary ledger, so in our case, if you remember, for under INR primary ledger, we have created one secondary ledger. So you need to link that secondary ledger onto to your responsibility. So you need to use the profile option SLA additional data access set profile option. Once you set this particular profile option, you need to link it to your second ledger as well. And the last profile option is SLA enable data access set security in subledger. Okay, so if you do not set this profile option, what will happen is whenever you're running any create accounting program in these subledgers, okay, when I run a create accounting program in under this particular responsibilities, whether it's a cash management supervisor or payable, so ultimately our objective is when you run your create accounting, I should be able to do an accounting only for the ledger which is linked to that particular responsibility. Am I right? Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what will happen is Oracle has given this particular profile option. If you do not set this particular profile option, using this particular responsibility, when you run your create accounting, it is even giving in the drop down the list of all other ledgers which are available in the system. Ideally, that should not be the case. So once you set it as yes, it will show you in the drop down only the ledger which is linked to your responsibility. Okay. So if you want, I mean, this particular profile option is available even under the AP also. I can just show you an example for the AP. Create accounting. So in the drop down, I can see Reliance INR ledger only. Okay. The reason being, I set the profile option as SLA enable data access security. I am enabling data access security so that only my ledger will be available in the drop down. If I set this particular profile option value as no, then I should be able to see all the ledgers in the drop down. Okay. We can see that now. Okay. Now I'll go to the system administrator. Okay. Change the profile option value for AP. Okay. Set this as no. Now go and try to run the create account under payables. You can see all the ledgers, 164 ledgers which are available in the dropdown is coming in. Yeah. All the ledgers which are created in the system are coming in the dropdown, which includes our ledger also, Reliance INR ledger. Okay. So it is very important that we need to ensure that that particular profile option is set. I'll go back to the system administrator. I'll set it as yes. Okay. Now going back to the cash management. Okay, so we have completed the responsibility. We have completed the profile options. Okay. Next thing is we can continue with the system parameters or system options, as I said that. So once you complete this, then we can go to the setup of the banks. Cash management super user, setup system, system parameter, that's the navigation. Cash management super user, setup system, system parameter. So as I said that in all the modules, first you need to complete this basic setup, then only you can start using the modules. So what is our legal entity? Reliance INR. Reliance Textiles. INR. Should be Reliance Communications, right? Why Reliance Textiles is coming up? Sec. Okay, Reliance Communication is coming up here. Okay, but the Reliance Communications had already completed the setups. Okay, so in cash management, certain setups are actually at a legal entity level. Okay, so Reliance Communication, I choose Reliance Communication because Reliance Postpaid falls under Reliance Communications. So and what is the ledger linked to Reliance Communication? Reliance INR. Okay, and begin date. I said that I want to start using the cash management from 1st of August 2017. If you remember, that's the date we started using the AP and AR module also. So similarly, cash management is also 1st of August 2017. And there are a couple of other options. These are all default options. So these options will have an significance when you are doing something called auto reconciliation. So basically, the cash at a high level, the cash management module is used to do a reconciliation between the payments whatever we have made in the AP module with the bank statement whatever we have received from the banker. So in the normal accounting world, this is called bank reconciliation, BRS. So you get the bank statement from the bank. You load that particular bank statement in the cash management module. So bank statement will contain the details of all the payments whatever you have made, as well as the receipts whatever you have received from the different customers. Okay, so that particular bank statement is loaded in the cash management module, and then you do something called bank reconciliation process. When you run your bank reconciliation process, that particular program is going to reconcile your AP payments and AR receipts with your cash management, and if there are any differences, it is going to identify those differences, and then you need to manually get into those differences and to find out what is the reason for those differences. Of course, I'll get into the more details of the bank reconciliation process when we discuss about the cash management module. But at a high level, that is the significance of the bank reconciliation. That is the significance of the cash management module. Okay, so these options will have an impact or will have an effect only if you are using the bank reconciliation functionality. Okay, so for the time being, we'll not get into these things, but we need to complete this particular setup before we get into the creation of the bank and bank accounts. Okay. Okay, now the next step is creation of the bank. So in Oracle we got the three concepts there: creation of the bank, creation of the bank branch, and creation of the bank account. So this is the hierarchy: bank, bank branch, and bank account. First you need to create a bank, and then you need to create a bank branch under that particular bank, and then you need to create the bank account. Okay, before we proceed to this particular bank screen, what we need to do is, again, this is a kind of a setup which we need to run something called CE UMX security wizard. Again, I'm not sure like why Oracle has given this kind of a functionality. This particular process needs to be run only by the system administrator. Oh, okay. When I say system administrator, it's not the system administrator responsibility. It should be a system administrator. I mean, he need to log into the Oracle using a sysadmin user ID and sysadmin password, and then he need to complete these setups. We do not have access to these screens, even in our current environment. Also, for these particular setups, I'll give it to my sysadmin team. Even in this testing instance, also, I do not have access to the sysadmin user ID and password. So I have sent these particular details to the concerned sysadmin person for this instance, and he has completed this setup. So these setups are for each responsibility. So for the cash management supervisor Reliance INR, under Reliance INR, we got these two legal entities. Under Reliance USD, we have these two legal entities, right? So under INR, the legal entities are Reliance Communications and Reliance Textiles. Okay. So you need to follow these steps using the system administration responsibility, and then switch to user management. Click on roles and role inheritance link, and we need to do these setups. And for this particular, so it is basically linking of these two legal entities to this particular responsibility. Even in my last 10 years, career, I have never seen this screen. The reason being, I do not have access to that. So I generally provide this particular details to the sysadmin, and sysadmin user will be able to do that. But at a high level, what we are doing here is, for this particular responsibility of cash management supervisor Reliance INR, I am giving an access of Reliance Communications and Reliance Textiles. Similarly, for cash management supervisor Reliance UST responsibility, I am giving an access of Reliance Telecom and Reliance Oil and Gas, Reliance Telecom and Reliance Oil and Gas legal entities under this particular responsibility. Any questions here? Only once we complete this particular setup, then only when you are creating your bank or bank accounts, I should be able to select the appropriate legal entities using that particular responsibilities. Otherwise, that will not come in the drop down. Okay,